Hey, we are just doing a test, make sure cameras are working, different filters are working. So here's an example of us looking at our Revit file. A new construction home in Winthrop Harbor. Hey, we are just doing a test, make sure cameras are working, different filters are working. So here's an example of us. Looks like we got someone who's actually tuning in to our test broadcast. A new construction home in Winthrop Harbor. So I guess while we're on here, we can just do some work, and if you guys have questions, let us know, and we can try and be a mentor for you guys. Looks like we got someone who's actually tuning in to our test broadcast. A new construction home in Winthrop Harbor. So I guess while we're on here, we can just do some work, and if you guys have questions, let us know, and we can try and be a mentor for you guys. Looks like we got someone who's actually tuning in to our test broadcast. So I guess while we're on here, we can just do some work, and if you guys have questions, let us know, and we can try and be a mentor for you guys. So right now, going through a drawing set, we're going to try and get this submitted for permit. So just running through all the sheets and adding some details. This is the roof plan. So right now, going through a drawing set, we're going to try and get this submitted for permit. So just if you're familiar with Revit, I can just sort of talk through what we're doing here. So what I like to do on all the sheets is what this line I drew was just a reference point so that all the floor plans are lining up. When you print a PDF and you flip through with the drawing set, everything is sort of overlaid in the exact spot. So it looks nice in presentation. When you are printing the drawings and flipping through, it makes sense. Here I am hiding the elevation tags just for the interiors. I want to keep the exterior elevation tags on. And I'll keep this section, the building section, on. This is not a building section here, so I'm going to hide that. And what I like to do is take some square footage takeoffs for the contractor, just so if they're pricing, it makes it a bit easier for them. I always put a disclaimer that says, you know, for reference only. So it's on them to double check, but definitely helps because those questions come up all the time. Running through, turning on all these bubbles. And let's see if we turn detail view on. I'm okay with showing some of these kind of artifacts from down below. This roof line kind of continues up and across. So we'll annotate and drop some roof slopes on here. We've got a 6/10 for the front. This one kind of cuts back down to become the entry there. Tried to keep the roof as simple as possible, but this one turned out a little more intricate than most of the roof geometries we designed at Corliss Architecture. So usually one slope tag is enough. I mean, if it makes sense to drop another tag in kind of a conspicuous area, I'll just throw another one in there. It doesn't hurt. Line all these things up here. Always have to remember that you can't move the elevation tags around too much because those are actually model elements. So if you move them in this view, they're going to move in all of the other views. So if you did have them set up on the floor plans, you know, those can move around, so just be careful. So I'll turn the annotation crop on so that we're getting this elevation tag to show up. So we should be good to crop it, hide that. And then, like I mentioned, I'm okay with showing some of the down below items, but if something pokes out, it doesn't really make too much sense. I'm just gonna hide it. Same thing for that. We've got some gutters here. And then this, because it's so visible, I'm okay with that. But I will override the graphic 50% halftone. Just so it looks like it's sort of down below. Okay, then also, I've got a roof general notes on here. I am going to want to tag this, some keynotes. But since there's so few keynotes on the roof plan, I typically just use the text. The text callouts, rather than doing a keynote. And usually if it's consistent across the entire project, I try not to list it too many times. I'll just put a note on here that says, you know, unless otherwise noted. So this should explain most everything. And we'll put some dimension strings on here. And I usually dimension this to the fascia. Actually, like the inside face of the fascia, since that's the real geometric dimension there, with an overall string. These are just small enough that they should be pulled out. And again, really what it makes sense for, I'll have to see what that number 6 column line is, but I really just like to dimension mostly the overalls or some of the criticals. So like that does get more intricate there, but I'll probably come in with some more detailed lines. So the contractor can reference the overalls. And there's just a lot of back and forward because now I've got my dimension strings crossing my call-out tags there, and definitely don't want that, so we'll edit that. This string should go all the way. Looks like I'm getting a slightly off dimension there. That's okay. And like I mentioned before, I mean, try not to have any annotations crossing one another. It's just confusing when you've got lines that are crossing over each other. And if you can, you try and get these text notes also uninterrupted. So something like that. Here, yeah, we want to zoom in here and give some more detailed dimension strings. I don't want to dictate, where these miter angles are coming down, because in field it's going to be slightly different. So that's something you just have to be aware of. That's one of those experience on-site construction things. You can't over-constrict these guys in field. They know what they're doing most of the time, and you have to trust that they know how to frame this out for the most part. Of course, if they have questions, we can always refer to the model or the drawings. So something like this here, all the geometry is broken by the roof plane multiple times, and so it makes more sense to leave the overall off on this side. They can always reference it on this side. We're going from soffit or fascia edge to fascia edge, and then there's sort of a rule of thumb within architecture that you're not really supposed to put the same information on the drawing set more than twice. Especially traditionally, where things were hand-drawn and then drawn in CAD. Now it's a little more common to see things repeat many times throughout the drawing set, because a lot of the drawings or notation are automated. But just something to think about. I do like to restrict duplicating the information too many times. So this should be pretty good. I'm gonna have to go in and do a vent schedule, telling the contractor how many linear feet of venting we need for the attic space. And so I'm gonna pull up those calculations and throw these on here, but more than anything, this was just a little test sample to see how streaming on our new platform here in our new office location is going. And I'll leave this up here for anyone to reference, and we'll call it roof plan documentation. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll try and hop on here a little more often with some mentorship type of sessions here. And if again you have any questions or you have any curiosities for the architectural process, want me to do videos on it, I'd be more than happy to. So just leave a comment and we will get back to doing videos to help young architects be educated and understand what the process is like. So thanks again for stopping by.